Hey y'all, my name's Matt Charette. Some of you might know me as the Rural Fisherman on Instagram. Some of you may know me from Vibe Kayaks. I'm the product manager at Vibe Kayaks. And I'm entering the Kayak Angler Magazine YakOff Awards with my Vibe Makana 100. This boat's pretty special to me. This is the first kayak that I fully designed from Vibe, at Vibe. Designed it from the ground. So this boat's gonna be a little bit different than some of the boats you're gonna see in the YakOff competitions. And the reason for that is this boat was kind of designed for me to begin with. So the things that I did to it just kind of enhanced that. And I'll walk you through it step by step. Obviously you guys can see I've got a Bixby motor on this thing. The reason I'm running Bixby is because the Makana is supposed 10-foot lightweight throw and go kayak. Obviously I've got quite a bit of extra gear on this thing. Quite as light as it once was. Still rooftop this thing on my truck, which I did to get here. I'm at Watts Bar in Tennessee. So the Bixby comes in at 10 pounds with the motor and the battery. It's pretty hard to beat when you're trying to look for something that's going to be super lightweight and modular. The nice thing about it is it pops right off. So take this off, I can put it in my truck, and I don't have to worry about it being on my boat, it bouncing around, somebody ramming into it and breaking something on the motor or on my boat. So I can take this thing right off, throw it in the truck, and I don't have to worry about it. That's a pretty nice feature to me. I know you can do that with bow mounts and stuff too, but you're adding so much extra weight with extra batteries. And this battery is small, lightweight, and I keep a spare under my seat because a long day of fishing, if I'm running real hard, I'm gonna burn through this battery. But 2 will give me a full day of fishing, no problem. And the other nice thing about the Bixby motor is I actually have a solar panel to charge this thing with for this boat. And that's been absolutely incredible for me. Multi-day tournaments, if I'm staying in a cabin like where I'm at right now, what I'll do is I'll fish my first day, fish practice, I'll be off the water, there's still daylight, I'll hook up the solar panel, I'll charge a battery. Or while I'm out on the water, I'll be charging my spare batteries. So that's kind of the way I like to go with the Bixby. It makes things a lot easier for me. This one's mounted to the Versa rudder, which is an aluminum rudder. It's really solid, really easy to use. And it steers this little boat really well. I can basically do donuts if I cut the handle all the way to one side. This thing will drive me in donuts. Moving forward, obviously you gotta be visible. YakOff, it's pretty hard to beat the VisiCarbon Pro. You've got a light, you've got a flag. I've got this one mounted to a quick disconnect, a lock and load. So it can come off real easy. I can put it on there. It's on a 90-degree angle, so I can kind of move it around however I want so it's out of the way. Because again, this is a 10-foot boat, so you need to remember, space is at a premium, so I'm trying to keep things as simple, as spread out as I possibly can, and really kind of think through everything I put on the boat. Then I've got my black pack, which this one's green to match the boat. Shout out to YakOff for that, that's awesome. And then I've got hard mounted to the top of the black pack, I've got one of their little boxes. These track packs are good for, I think this one I've got mostly chatterbaits and kind of searching baits. If I don't know what the bite's gonna be, I've just got quick access to a bunch of, there's whopper ploppers, chatterbaits, various things in there. Moving forward, this is where we get into I work for Vibe and we're getting into prototype area. So you can see that my Bending Branches paddle here is mounted to this gear track that's on my seat. This seat's pretty special. This is the Vibe Hero seat. I've got the Summit seat fabric, which is our more premium fabric. And then on the back of the seat, I've got what's called our Summit Perch, which elevates you up. I can stand on this thing in the Makana, I can stand on it in the Shearwater. A lot of people are just gonna wanna sit on it, but it still gives you a much better sight fishing platform. On the side of this one though, is where we get into prototype. This is our Ridgeline track. This is a quad rail track. And I have mounted to this side my paddle holder. These are the YakOff Roto Grip paddle holders. And as you saw, that allows me to pick it up and move it because it swivels. It keeps it pushed out of the way and above this gear track, so I don't have to worry about whether or not I can mount stuff to this gear track like this track pack. On this side, I've got a rod holder. This rod holder I don't use that much with my bass gear, but I do use it quite a bit for fly fishing. And the reason I do is because it puts it up out of the way. Fly rods are really long, so I can change the angle, and it's up off the deck quite a ways, so I don't have to worry about my tip dragging or getting hit by things, and that's something that I'm always concerned about with fly rods. The other thing is obviously, because it's Yak Attack, it rotates. So I'm not sure how well you can see it, but I can rotate it in and out. I can put it at any angle I want, so in either seating position I can make it work. So that's kind of where the magic is with that one. Then I also have mounted to it a Yak Attack retractor, track mount retractor, with some fish grips. That's all fishermen need, fish grips. It's just a real slick way to store them right next to your seat. You want them, catch a fish, put it on the fish grips, and put them in the water because there's plenty of rope to let them kind of calm down so you can get a good measurement on him. Moving forward a little bit more, you can't see it, but I'll show you in B-roll. I've got the Yak Power system on this boat. And the thing about the Yak Power system in general is just kind of how clean it is. You can run your wires, your cables, you can have lights, you can power your electronics, you can have USB power. It just really makes it simple and super, super easy. Drill a few holes, you run some wires, battery, you're good to go. With this particular boat, I have it set up on a master power switch here. Turn on and off the master power, which allows me to not have just a little bit of creep, because it is a Bluetooth system. So that Bluetooth antenna is going to slowly wear down my battery. I'm running a 50 amp hour Norsk lithium battery in this thing, so I don't worry too much about it. A little 0.01 amps. But it is going to slowly wear down your battery. So I have it on a power switch. The other thing I did with this system is I put a SAE plug right next to my power switch. That's actually a power input for the boat, not an output. So that allows me to charge the boat without taking the battery out. And that's kind of key because it's a really small boat. So in order to make everything fit, I had to be a little creative on getting it inside the hull. So I took my hatch off, took the ring or hatch off. I had to trim my battery box. I'll show you guys my battery box. I had to trim my battery box to make it fit. It's a Pelican box. Slid it all the way up in, kind of made sure everything was nice and clean. That's also where my black box for my fish finder lives, is inside the hull. And it puts most of the weight in the bow, but I find it kind of evens out pretty nice my tackle. So it works out kind of good. Moving forward, so I've got a couple of deck lights from Yak Power. I've got bow lights, as well as white pointing forward for coming into docks and stuff late at night, or cruising around stumps and that sort of thing. That's actually pretty handy for that. I also have USB power in the cockpit area, as well as in my rear tank well. And that allows me to run my GoPros if I'm on the rear tank. It allows me to charge my phone or whatever in the front, or have another GoPro in the front, whatever. So it's got USB-C and USB-A, so I can charge whatever. Fish finders hook up to their own power source, so I can just go out. If I don't want a live scope, I really don't need two graphs. So the nice thing about the Yak Attack system is they pop right off. So that's kind of how I run it. I'll be running two graphs out here. Like I said, I'm at Watts Bar. I've never fished here before, so having the ability to live scope and to find where the fish are, it's going to be kind of helpful for me. So moving forward to kind of a little bit unique. This is half prototype, not. The prototype part is the black piece you see underneath. So this is going to be our Vibe Ridgeline crossbar. It's kind of a captain's bridge sort of situation. It's got 2 gear tracks on top, 1, 2, and 1. So in total, there's 6 gear tracks on this thing, which really allows you to customize the way you want. Again, with that modular ability, where you want things to be movable, to be able to take this graph, remove this track pad, slide this graph into a different position. And that's going to allow me to sure that I can see both screens. If I want to, if everything I'm casting is out in this direction, I can stack my graphs no problem. And I don't have to think about it. And that's the nice thing when you're on the waters. You don't have to think about it. Everything's just very simple and easy to use. So what I did was, this is on ram attachments, so that allows a ton of adjustability. And then I went ahead and I mounted the new YakAttack crossbar to the back of my Vibe one. So it's half prototype, half not. And the not prototype part is really nice. YakAttack product. So it's top loading, which is really nice. So you can just move. I've got extra quick disconnects and stuff on here. You can see I've got a rod holder here. I don't use this much, but what I do use it for, say I caught a big fish. I've got them on my fish grips. I'm getting my catch board out. I'm trying to organize, trying to get everything under control. My rod that I caught the fish on, it's got a lure, maybe treble hooks. I like to set it up here, out of the way, while I'm doing my stuff. It keeps my smallish cockpit very wide open, which is always key in a small boat, is to make sure that you have the ability to work. This is my workspace, so it needs to stay open. And you can probably see I'm right-handed. I cast slightly to the left. So I keep everything to the right. So my paddle, all that stuff, it stays to the right. I'm mostly fishing in this direction. Moving forward a little bit more, I already talked a little bit about my power switch and my charge port. The other thing I like about this charge port is it allows me to charge the boat with a wall plug. It allows me to charge it in my truck on the way to the ramp, because I have 110 power in my truck. What it also does is it allows me to put the Bixby solar panel on my boat and charge that 50 amp hour battery. So again, in a multi-day situation, or we're out hanging out, it's beautiful out, it's nice and sunny. If I fished all day yesterday and I'm kind of being lazy this morning, I'll have the solar panel out, trickle charging my boat. The Lowrance system, I've got the FS9s on this. And these are really nice units. They link really nicely to your phone. The other thing they do that's really kind of neat is, with this Yak Power system, I have Bluetooth control over the entire lighting and power system on this boat using the graphs. So it integrates really nicely, and it's that just the ability to be screwing around on here and be like, oh crap, I need to turn on my nav lights. And just be like, whoop, it's on. It's really nice. My remote's right here for the Yak Power, but I still do use it on the graphs quite a bit. The nice thing about the FS9 is it gives me the ability to run side scan, down scan, like most modern fish finders. But what it also does is it allows that live scope that I was talking about. So their active target 2 system is what I have on this, and allows to search for fish, find them a little bit easier. It makes your day on the water much easier. I'm a big fan of forward facing, and it works really nicely in this. So I run forward facing on one, side and down on the other, or I run mapping on one, forward facing on the other if I've already locked in on them. So it gives me the ability to find the fish, stay on the fish, and fish them and catch them. So that's kind of the electronics breakdown on this boat. The dual graphs, I often just take one out. If I know the lake really well, I'm just looking for temperature, I'm looking for structure, I'll just take one graph out. If I'm looking for fishing a new lake, fishing tournaments, I'll always be out here with 2. I don't fish tournaments that much anymore, but I still do some. Yeah, that's the run through of my Vibe Makana 100. Very proud of this little boat. It's not going to be the most rigged out boat in this competition. It's not going to have the most things on it, but what I can guarantee is I can still put it on the top of my truck at the end of the day, and I can still take it down, put it on a normal cart, and walk it down into any launch. I don't need an actual launch. And yeah, that's a wrap, really. Thank you very much.